One of the biggest options most of us are really chasing isn't luxury or status. It's simply space. Whether that's mental space, emotional space, or that elusive room to breathe, it's natural then to assume that once we buy that space with our fire pot of gold, that purpose will naturally flow in and fill it. But what I've started to notice in myself and in others who've reached financial independence already and are living the FIRE dream is that when structure disappears overnight, purpose almost never rushes in to replace it. It's mischievous, it hesitates, and it's quieter than expected. Sometimes it doesn't even show up at all, which is why I think the escape fantasy is better described as an escape fallacy. Leaving the corporate grind doesn't magically solve what feels unresolved. Freedom in itself doesn't automatically soothe anxiety. Those things only ease when you start facing them head on before you jump. So what happens when work actually stops? Work doesn't just take time from us. It also gives us things, whether we like it or not. And those are things that society values and is built around. Rhythm, urgency, a reason to get up in the morning, a sense of progress and validation. So, when you step away from work and remove all of that, what people are often most surprised about isn't boredom, but it's disorientation. Oliver Burkeman writes in 4,000 Weeks that modern work gives us a kind of false structure for life. We complain about it constantly, but when it's gone, we realize how much of our identity and momentum were quietly attached to it. And that's why waiting until you quit to look for purpose can feel harder than expected. You're suddenly free, but you're unanchored. By avoiding the work during the journey and building your purpose finding muscle, you run the risk of falling right back into your old job again 6 months later. And this also shows up in the infamous 1 more year problem. On the surface, 1 more year looks like a purely financial decision. You stay working in the job to get 1 more bonus, 1 more year of buffer saved, 1 more year of certainty. But underneath is usually not about money at all, it's about fear. More specifically, it's about not trusting that there's anything solid waiting for you on the other side of work. When work is the only place you feel useful and relevant or structured, leaving it feels less like freedom and more like a free fall. So staying becomes the safer default option. What purpose does before you quit is alter that equation. It gives you evidence that you can create meaning without a job title, that you can generate momentum without corporate urgency, and that your life doesn't collapse when work stops being the center of your universe. That's why the small things matter so much. Helping my parents build their home, training consistently, starting this podcast without knowing where it will go. None of those were escape plans, and none of them replaced work, but they reduced how much emotional weight work was carrying. And that's the difference. When purpose exists alongside work, you're no longer asking, can I survive without this? You're asking, do I still need this in the same way? That's why those who build purpose before quitting are far less likely to get stuck in the 1 more year loops. They're not leaping into the unknown anymore, they're just stepping into something already partially built.